Everyone in the elite business circles knows that CEO Chu Youyu has a line of guys waiting to climb into her bed.
But without fail, every single one of them gets thrown right out.
Tonight, though, someone spiked her drink at dinner, forcing her to stumble back to her hotel room. She is absolutely furious and wants to see who had the absolute nerve to set her up. Ripping the blanket back, Chu Youyu casts a cold, sharp glare at the bed.
Even cheap escorts are not this easy. How much do you want for a night?
She spits out the insult, asking how he dared to just crawl into her bed. But the second she actually looks at the boy on the mattress, oh, I did not see this coming.
It is literally Xiaofan, the cute young master she raised herself. Her face completely freezes. Half asleep, the boy hears someone softly calling his name and starts to wake up.
Rubbing his eyes, he slowly turns around and calls her sister Chu, making her entire body shudder. Her throat feels like it is on fire, leaving her completely unable to reply. He pouts and complains, asking Sister Chu why she took so long to get there. But as he tries to sit up, he wobbles and starts to tilt right over.
Chu Youyu moves instantly, catching him with her long arms before he falls.
Mumbling her name, he naturally wraps his small hands around her waist. Sitting like this, his face ends up buried right against her lap. She feels a sudden rush of heat, and honestly, the tension here is off the charts. Frowning slightly, she lifts his chin and asks Xiaofan what he is even doing there. He stammers in embarrassment before realizing, wait, did she not ask him to come? Her brows furrow deeper as she senses danger, her eyes narrowing into a sharp glare. Right then, her assistant Jiang Huang walks in to report, finding the door slightly open.
He reports that the mayor sent his nephew to her room, but they already intercepted him.
But seeing the actual scene inside the room, the assistant freezes dead in his tracks. Shocked, Jiang Huang blurts out, wait, isn't that young Master Chen? Her face turns dark as ice, barking out a single cold command to get out. Jiang Huang quickly drops his eyes and turns to leave, but she stops him.
Guard the door, she orders. If anyone tries to enter, deal with them.
Xiaofan looks up, curious. He innocently asks what the assistant meant by the mayor's nephew and some other man.
Looking down at his completely clueless, innocent face, her expression immediately softens.
A gentle smile plays on her lips as she whispers that there is no other man.
She pats his head, telling him he misheard, then asks where he went tonight. Seeing him shrink back nervously, she asks if he drank too much.
He mutters that it was just a tiny bit, while she stares at him intensely. He definitely looks like he had more than a little, and asks if she is going to scold him.
On the verge of tears, he grabs her hand and begs her not to be mad. He insists he only had a sip, prompting Chu Youyu to sigh in mock defeat.
She lets it slide this once, but warns him never to do it again. He nods like a little puppy, hugging her tightly with a sweet, goofy smile. He tells her how amazing she is, but look at that dark, plodding smile on her face. Her hand slowly slides down from the back of his head, tracing his neck. Her thoughts are racing with wild ideas, but she maintains her composed, elegant act. She asks why he came to find her, catching him completely off guard. He panics, unsure how to explain himself, as she gently lifts his chin again.
Seeing his face turn bright red like a cooked shrimp, she teases him with a smirk.
When she says she's leaving, Xiaofan instinctively grabs her shirt, begging her to stay. Biting his lip until it almost bleeds, he sits right back down.
She wraps her arm around his back as they sit on the bed, making his heart race wild.
He whispers for her to close her eyes, catching Chu Youyu completely off guard.
She actually listens and closes them, while he locks his eyes onto her lips. His breathing hitches, but Chu Youyu gets a little impatient and softly calls his name.
Before she can even finish asking what he wants, he completely cuts her off with a kiss. She gasps in shock as he deepens the kiss, her eyes snapping wide open. She sees him wrapping his arms around her neck, with his eyes squeezed shut. No lie, he is trying so hard, pouncing on her like an excited little kitten trying to please her. After making an absolute mess of her lips, he finally pulls back just a little.
He starts kissing her cheeks and jawline, leaving her completely frozen. She gently pushes him back, asking if he even knows what he's doing right now.
He just lets out a soft whine and aggressively shoves her down onto the bed. Then he goes straight for her tie, but he is too weak to pull it off.
Getting frustrated, his eyes tear up as he whines about how difficult this stupid tie is. Seeing how completely stressed out he is, Chu Youyu casually raises her hand and slides the tie off with ease. He complains she shouldn't tie it so tight next time, not even letting her speak. He clumsily starts fumbling with her shirt buttons, but the more he tries, the more panicked he gets. The more rushed he gets, the harder it is, and he is literally crying. He mumbles that she is officially banned from wearing button shirts, making Chu Youyu let out a soft sigh. Once the last few buttons are finally undone, he boldly reaches out with both hands. As his hands wander, a quiet, breathless gasp of satisfaction slips right out of Chu Yuyu's throat. The moment she realizes what is happening, she stares at his wild boldness in absolute shock. Her dark, hated eyes lock onto him as she demands to know who taught him this. He mutters his friend's name, but as she starts to ask what else he learned, his hand slides onto her strap. With just a soft press of his fingers, Chu Yuyu's body completely betrays her, losing all control. She tenses up entirely, right as he prepares to take things even further. Gritting her teeth, Chu Youyu grabs his wrist, demanding if his friend taught him that too. He gives her a pouty nod, murmuring that his friend promised him that women always love this trick. When he asks if she hates it, she groans that he's practically killing her. Fine beads of sweat coat her forehead, and the tense veins on her neck are literally starting to show. Feeling incredibly guilty, he instantly promises to go way easier. She warns him to stop playing around before she loses all control and devours him. Sitting up, Chu Youyu leans close to whisper deeply in his ear, asking if he's actually thought this through. Xiaofan looks down, blushing furiously, before letting out a soft, barely audible squeak of approval. With her heart finally at ease, the rushed panic in her eyes suddenly melts away completely. Gently squeezing the back of his neck to comfort him, she whispers that he's such an obedient boy. Her soft smile and incredibly seductive voice hold a terrifying amount of power. Talk about insane tension! Just as he starts completely losing himself in the heat of the moment, her fingers quietly slide down to his waist, completely unnoticed as they find their mark. With a gentle tug, his clothes drop straight to the floor. He lets out a soft gasp as his entire body is suddenly exposed to her. Chu Yuyu's teasing smile instantly freezes up, and her eyes ignite with a wild, incredibly hungry fire. Her burning gaze is so incredibly intense that he is completely overwhelmed with a wave of pure embarrassment. Xiaofan tries to hide, but she already threw his blanket on the floor, forcing him to cover himself. He tries to block her intense gaze, remembering this was actually all his friend Song Jie's idea. Xiaofan defends him, saying Song Jie did it for his own good and is not actually a bad guy. He only has this one close friend, and hearing this, Sister Chu simply nods in response. But then she pulls his hands away, making our boy's face instantly burn with pure embarrassment. He stammers out what she means by this, and she whispers back that she absolutely loves it. Suddenly, Chu Youyu pulls him into her arms, pinning him down to deliver a fierce, passionate kiss. She only lets go when he is completely breathless, trailing burning hot kisses down his chin. She covers every single inch of his body with kisses, leaving our main character totally dazed and lightheaded. Xiaofan wraps his arms around her neck as they slowly approach the most forbidden. Xiaofan's fingers grip the bedsheets tight as the heavy weight pressing down on him suddenly lifts. Sister Chu Youyu, gently kisses the crown of his head, saying she is heading to the shower. She tells him to be a good boy and wait in bed, making him wonder if she is going to handle things herself. He shakes his head, begging her not to go, which only makes Chu Youyu let out a soft sigh. She says she will get him dirty without a wash, but Xiaofan is terrified she will just solve things alone. So he insists on joining her, and Chu Youyu just chuckles, completely amused by his boldness. Off to the bathroom they go, and soon Chu Youyu is standing right under the warm, running water. Water drops rain down like crazy, tracing the gorgeous lines of her face as it drips down. At this point, Xiaofan literally cannot stand straight, ending up completely draped over her. He is soft as a sponge, his entire body burning up with an intense, uncontrollable heat. He is getting super restless, and Chu Youyu immediately notices that something is seriously off with him. She asks if he drank something sketchy at the bar, but he just groggily mutters no. He mentions only drinking what Song Jie gave him. Chu Youyu narrows her eyes. That trash definitely drugged him.
No shot! He was the one who told me to come find you. Then he pauses and remembers, oh wait, Song Jie did give him some random drink earlier. Supposedly to boost his courage, which actually makes Sister Chu let out a surprised laugh. But the very next second, she realizes her own self-control is about to fly right out the window. Suddenly, a rush of heat hits her, and her heart rate starts spiking like crazy. Chu Yuyu's eyes go completely dark, and this insanely dangerous primal aura starts radiating from her. Feeling her entire body suddenly tense up, Xiaofan asks what's wrong, completely oblivious to the danger. She looks down at him with pure intensity, whispering a soft apology and telling him to close his eyes. Before he can even blink, she pins him against the wall, completely losing control as she cups his head. So basically, Sister Chu pins Xiaofan against the wall, kissing him so fiercely it completely terrifies him. Our girl Chu Youyu has totally lost her mind at this point, looking like she is straight up possessed. She is not hearing anything. In the middle of the night, she finally fishes Xiaofan out of the water. She dries him off with a towel and lays him on the bed, which finally wakes him up. When he complains about the pain, she heartbrokenly pulls him right back into her arms. She gently coaxes him, saying she will massage the pain away for her sweet Xiaofan. But as she is massaging, Xiaofan's vision goes dark as her heavy body presses down on him again. Xiaofan stares up at her in absolute disbelief, but she just calmly lowers her head like nothing happened. Like a smug little fox, she nuzzles his cheek and whispers for him to be a good boy. She promises it is fine this time, but then she just dives right back in without warning. Instead of getting any better, the pain instantly flares up and gets way worse. Xiaofan bursts into tears, crying out that she is a big fat liar who promised to only massage. But Chu Youyu just chuckles in his ear, asking whoever said she had to use her hands. She pins down the struggling Chen Fan as he trembles and cries beneath her. Why isn't once enough? Why keep going? Her voice is incredibly hoarse from trying to restrain herself. Be good, Xiaofan, just give me one more time. But before she can even finish her sentence, suddenly, a wild, seismic shift of passion shatters his protests. Honestly, Chu Youyu is built different. She is not normal. She normally looks so elegant and reserved, but in bed, she goes straight into beast mode. He almost passes out again, but this time, the woman has no intention of letting him sleep. Grabbing him by the back of the neck, she forces him to look towards the door. Meanwhile, outside, Chen Yu arrives at the room door, his eyes gleaming with wicked anticipation. Just as he is about to swipe his room key, a chilling voice rings out from right behind him. Mr. Chen, you cannot enter without Miss Chu's permission. A shiver runs down Chen Yu's spine as he quickly hides the room card up his sleeve. Seeing Jiang Huang's calm smile, Chen Yu lies, saying he has some urgent business with Miss Chu. Jiang Huang does not even try to hide his sarcasm. What kind of urgent business is handled in the middle of the night? Chen Yu's smile stiffens as he replies, naturally it is urgent, which is why he is in such a rush. Does Secretary Zhang really have to pry so deeply? Jiang Huang scoffs. Ms. Chu is already resting. Any official business should go through me. If there is anything, you can just tell me. Chen Yu smirks and replies, well, what a coincidence, because this is actually a private matter. Do I really need to report my private affairs to you? Jiang Huang's eyes narrow. No wonder young Master Chen dislikes you so much. You really are utterly repulsive. What did you just say? Chen Yu's face instantly stiffens. Jiang Huang sneers contemptuously. Is Mr. Chen just thick-skinned, or does he literally not understand human speech? I have warned you so many times. His voice drops to a freezing cold tone. Miss Chu is busy inside. Absolutely no one is allowed to disturb her. Hearing this, Chen Yu instantly starts to panic. Wait, who is Chu Youyu in there with? Jiang Huang stares closely at his pale, highly unnatural expression. Are you seriously telling me you do not know who arranged all of this tonight? Chen Yu clenches his fists tightly.
His expression darkens. The aphrodisiac he used tonight was incredibly potent.
And the only way to relieve it is through physical intimacy. Once a woman takes this drug, it is over.
She would be active for 2 days and 2 nights straight. Chen Yu thought his plan was absolutely foolproof. As long as he managed to get into Chu Yuyu's bed, he could use the opportunity to force his way by her side.
Then Chen Fan would be completely out of the picture. Chen Yu gritted his teeth in bitter frustration.
He gritted his teeth and left, knowing there was no point in staying, but he was still burning with fury.
He takes the elevator back down, then rushes to another hotel room door.
The moment he unlocks the door, he hears nothing but heavy male panting. He strides inside.
Expecting to witness the satisfying scene of Chen Fan being utterly humiliated and ravaged by several heavy-set women. Instead, he finds the bed completely empty. He frowns deeply, his anger flaring. Where is he?
Suddenly, several pairs of predatory eyes glare at him from the dark corner.
You dare ask us where he is? You called us over here. Are you fucking playing with us?
Chen Yu immediately realizes something is terribly wrong. How could he not be here? That is impossible.
The receptionist literally told me they saw him come up. Up your ass. Do you think we are lying to you?
The heavy-set woman roars in annoyance, and her thugs immediately stand up to surround him. Chen Yu takes 2 steps back in sheer terror, stammering that there must have been some kind of mistake.
He got lucky today and somehow escaped. Just wait until next time.
Next time? Do you really think there is a next time? The woman lets out a chilling laugh. To take your petty job, I had to offend the people in charge.
You kept us waiting all this time, and now you have the nerve to tell us next time? This is entirely on you.
Meanwhile, downstairs, someone yells that if Chen Yu is unhappy, he should go find that absolute trash. They demand he settle the bill immediately, wanting triple the money for making them wait so long. Chen Yu immediately loses his temper, shouting that the job failed, so there is no money to collect. He scoffs at paying triple, calling it extortion, but the head female thug just gives a sharp nod.
She orders them to grab him, leaving Chen Yu stuttering and asking what they are doing. Chen Yu tries to run, but a blonde thug grabs his clothes, calling him a useless piece of trash.
She growls that he made them waste their time, and they are going to ruin him tonight. Downstairs, a mouth reeking of booze and cigarettes forces a kiss on Chen Yu, who screams for help. Covered in scratches and bruises by morning, Chen Yu gets wrecked. Meanwhile, upstairs? In the bedroom upstairs, Xiaofan whines, asking Sister Chu when she'll finally be done. She just smirks. She playfully asks if it's really been that long, so he glances over at the bedside clock.
3 hours! It has literally been 3 hours! She gently tells him to just bear with it a bit longer.
Almost done, she promises, but he just whimpers.
The sun is literally about to rise, yet Chu Youyu shows absolutely no signs of stopping.
After what feels like an eternity, the first light of dawn finally breaks through the horizon. She leans up to kiss his tear-stained cheeks, whispering for him to stop crying because it breaks her heart.
Annoyed, he dodges her hand, calling her a liar since she definitely did not hold back.
She just smiles helplessly, apologizing because she simply lost all control in the heat of the moment. She promises to be gentler next time, which immediately makes Xiaofan freeze. Next time? Seeing his adorable, pouting face, she just can't resist teasing him.
Who seduced who anyway? He instantly fires back, denying everything.
He insists she's the one refusing to let go, but she just hums.
Only with you, she whispers. Finally, she got everything she wanted. Mood, top tier. She even tells him she called in sick for him. Telling him to sleep, Chu Youyu wraps him in her arms and lies down. Even though Xiaofan is completely exhausted, he remembers his early flight tomorrow. Knowing he has the whole day to sleep, he finally relaxes and drifts off into a deep slumber.
Meanwhile, back downstairs, those sugar mommies finish taking their turns with Chen Yu, literally tossing him onto the bed like a rag. One asks if they're really just leaving him there, and the leader goes, "What, you want to take him home as a snack?" What if he wakes up and calls the cops? Looking at his drip, this guy is clearly no average nobody.
The pregnant lady just snorts, saying, "That's easy."
He pulls out his phone and snaps blackmail photos of the girl on the bed. If he dares call the cops, she threatens to make him the capital's top trending scandal. Her lackeys give a huge thumbs up, praising her genius as the satisfied women get dressed and head out.
Meanwhile, Chen Yu is left on the bed, eyes shut tight, shivering in absolute terror. Door slams. He snaps his eyes open. Looking down at his ruined, broken body, he grits his teeth in pure, unadulterated hatred.
Chen Fan was supposed to be the one ruined last night, but instead, he got wrecked. All this humiliation and suffering, he blames every single bit of it on that trash Chen Fan. He thinks if he can just kick Chen Fan away from Chu Youyu, ruining him will be effortless. Staring at the ceiling, Chen Yu quickly cooks up a new revenge plan. On the other side, Chen Fan suddenly jolts awake with a massive chill running down his spine. He realizes his blanket slipped off, and honestly, he just really needs the restroom. But with the girl's arms draped over him, he is totally stuck in a dilemma. Just then, his phone starts buzzing on the nightstand, and he quickly silences it. Chen Fan instinctively glances at the woman sleeping next to him, who does not show any sign of waking up. He quietly slips out of her arms, grabs his phone, and sneaks into the bathroom. Song Jie's hyped voice comes through on the line, calling Chen Fan to see if he would actually pick up. He is shocked that Chen Fan actually answered and immediately asks how the battle went last night, wondering if he finally conquered Chu Youyu, while Chen Fan just lets out a tired yawn. Like, seriously? You called me this early in the morning just to gossip about that? Song Jie chuckles, saying he was just super worried since Chen Fan ran off to find her alone in the middle of the night. He never replied to any texts afterward, making his buddy think something crazy had happened.
Hearing his tired voice, Song Jie asks if they stayed up all night doing business.
Rubbing his aching head, Chen Fan asks if he would believe they literally just went to sleep. Song Jie is absolutely losing it, asking if his queen, Chu Youyu, is actually a perpetual motion machine. Hearing his friend scream like a maniac through the receiver only makes his headache 10 times worse. Chen Fan's face starts burning up, thinking he must be completely out of his mind. Discussing such an embarrassing, private topic with his wild buddy first thing in the morning is crazy. Song Jie tells him he hit the jackpot and needs to cherish his boss queen. He warns him not to let other guys steal her away, but then Chen Fan hears a noise outside. He hangs up on Song Jie, whispering that he thinks Chu Youyu is starting to wake up. Meanwhile, the pathetic villain Chen Yu calls his bodyguards and stumbles his way to room 8888. He manages to unlock the door, and hearing nothing but silence inside, he starts sneaking in. Creeping through the entryway, he sees a man's shirt and a woman's dress completely scattered across the floor. It is a total mess, and honestly, you do not need a brain to know last night was wild. Jealousy burns in Chen Yu's eyes as he pulls out the knockout drug he prepared last night. He plans to drug them asleep so his bodyguards can drag that damn man out of there. But when he reaches the massive bed, he freezes up, seeing only the woman sleeping there. The guy is not even in the room, which makes no sense since having a night with Chu Youyu is legendary. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and this random guy got that lucky but just ran away. Since the guy escaped, Chen Yu quietly orders his bodyguard to wait outside the room first. The bodyguard nods and shuts the door, leaving Chen Yu to creep closer to the bed on tiptoe. She is sleeping curled up on her side, still holding the empty space like she is hugging someone close. Staring at her gorgeous sleeping face, Chen Yu's heart starts pounding like crazy with greed. He reaches out, desperately wanting to touch the woman he has been obsessing over for so long. But suddenly, a cold hand clamps down hard around his wrist, and he stammers out, "Sister Chu." He asks how she woke up, but her expression is terrifyingly dark. Her voice is pure ice as she demands to know who gave him the courage to sneak in. Chen Yu feels an instant wave of suffocating killing intent, making his heart feel like it is being squeezed. Trying not to blow his cover, he forces a calm smile and asks what is wrong with her. He asks if he disturbed her rest, but she just snaps at him to get lost and sits up. She coldly scans the messy room, immediately looking for her sweet little guy. She is looking extremely displeased now, but Chen Yu is too dense to notice her rising rage. He asks her what she is looking for, but she just glares back with terrifying dark eyes. When she demands to know where Chen Fan is, Chen Yu instantly panics inside. He stammers that he has no idea, asking why she is even looking for that guy so early. Before he can even finish, she grabs him by the neck and leans in with a cold, murderous whisper. She demands to know where her boy is, completely cutting off his breath. His face turns bright red as he gasps that he has not seen him. He keeps swearing he has no clue, but seriously, nobody lies to Chu Youyu and gets away with it. One look is all she needs to tell whether Chen Yu is actually speaking the truth or not. Finding out he really does not know where Chen Fan went, Chu Youyu gets irritated and tosses Chen Yu aside.
Chen Yu whines, asking where she is rushing off to, saying she was not like this last night.
Chu Youyu pauses in her tracks and sneers, mockingly asking how exactly she was last night. He bites his lip and shyly takes off his shirt, asking if she really does not remember anything.
I do not need to say anything. Just look and see for yourself.
Chu Youyu stares at the scratch marks on his body and suddenly bursts out laughing, telling him to look at himself.
She mockingly asks if he has ever even been with a woman, and right then, they look up. A man wearing nothing but a bathrobe casually strolls out from the direction of the bathroom. Chen Yu literally screeches like a banshee, his voice cracking under the absolute shock. Before Chen Yu can even recover, Chen Fan calmly steps out. Yep, it is your father speaking. Chen Yu stares with wide, disbelieving eyes, utterly failing to find his voice. Chen Fan smirks, mocking his shocked expression and asking if he seriously does not recognize his own father? Panicking slightly, Chen Yu stammers out, demanding to know how he could possibly be in this room. Chen Fan walks over with his arms crossed, scoffing that he should be the one asking that question. He glances over at the woman standing by the bed, and she instantly walks over to him. She reaches out and pulls him straight into her embrace, firmly locking her fingers around his wrist. He tries to shake her off, but fails, telling Chu Youyu to stop pulling him. Chu Youyu desperately promises she can explain, but Chen Fan instantly shuts her down. He gives her a cold glance and tells her to either get out or stand back right now. He coldly tells her she is only slowing down his sword-drawing speed, making her whisper something soft in his ear. She tells him not to hurt himself before finally letting go of his arm. He turns his sharp glare back to the stunned Chen Yu, demanding an answer to his question. Pronouncing every single word slowly, he asks what he is doing in his and Chu Yuyu's room. Squirming under that freezing gaze, Chen Yu forces himself to put on a completely innocent act.
He acts totally confused, claiming he was in this room the entire night anyway. He boasts about sleeping with Sister Chu the whole time, casting a shy, dramatic look toward the woman.
She just stands there with a cold face, offering zero explanation. Since she knows Chen Fan will handle it anyway, watching this, Chen Fan lets out a cold sneer. He mockingly repeats his words, asking if he really spent the entire night sleeping with her. He turns around to the minibar, grabs a massive bucket of ice, and walks right back. He dumps the freezing ice directly over Chen Yu's head, the sudden bitter cold hitting him hard. The completely naked Chen Yu shivers violently from the shock as Chen Fan asks if he is sober now. Shivering like a leaf, Chen Yu whimpers, asking Chen Fan how he could have possibly offended him. He asks why he is treating him like this, but Chen Fan only repeats his words. Asking how much longer he plans to keep acting, Chen Fan violently slams the empty bucket onto the ground. Chen Yu flinches in terror, nervously stammering about what act he could possibly be putting on. He asks why he has such a temper, wondering if it is because he slept with Sister Chu last night. He asks if he is jealous, but Chen Fan snaps at his audacity to even mention her name.
He low-key wants to slap the guy, but decides it is not even worth the effort.
No need to dirty his hands on Chen Yu. He calls him the most shameless creature alive, sticking around like cheap glue that nobody can seem to shake off. He is incredibly stupid and annoying. What kind of delusion is keeping him going? To put on this entire fake drama? Honestly, the guy is completely desperate for a woman at this point. Chen Fan loses his patience, exposing that Chen Yu slept with other women.
Sneaking into Sister Chu's room at dawn? What is he even planning?
He wants to frame Sister Chu and blackmail her into staying with him. Every single word hits home, leaving Chen Yu pale and utterly speechless. Chen Yu snaps back, asking if Chen Fan is just denying the truth. He acts completely righteous, claiming he had dinner with Sister Chu last night.
Claiming they drank heavily, things in that room just naturally happened.
Basically everything happened, and he wonders why Chen Fan is acting blind. How long is Chen Fan gonna keep lying to himself like this? Honestly, this villain is so shameless, it is almost funny. How does he dare? Chen Yu doubles down, saying whether they want to accept it or not, it is an absolute fact, no denial. With red eyes, he looks at Sister Chu, pleading that they had fun. But now Chen Fan is making it sound dirty, begging her to stop him. Sister Chu is just standing there smoking, calmly asking what even happened last night.
She remembers nothing, only his injuries remain. Chen Yu blushes, claiming she was just way too rough with him. Sister Chu cold smiles, asking if that force was from the drug he used. Chen Yu freezes at the word drug, but she says it is twice now. Guilty as hell, Chen Yu lowers his head, pretending he has no idea. Chu Youyu sneers coldly, asking if he still claims to love her. Speak up or get burned, simple as that. A terrible burning smell fills the air, and pain makes him sweat instantly. He tries to struggle, but her grip is like an iron vice. She laughs, saying her name has a lot of strokes to write. As she starts burning him, the villain completely breaks and begs her to stop. She stops and demands the truth, but Chen Yu still tries to deny it. He claims it is a misunderstanding, but she knows what happened last night.
He slept with others, yet still tried sneaking into her bed this morning. Chen Yu stammers, playing the victim by saying he drank too much too.
He claims he is a victim, but before he can finish his lies,
Jiang Huang bursts in, reporting that those 4 women have been captured. They confessed after a beating, so Chu Youyu tosses Chen Yu aside.
Jiang Huang explains that Chen Yu actually paid those 4 women himself. The plan was to target Chen Fan, but the plan went horribly wrong. So they ended up taking Chen Yu instead, making Chu Youyu furious. Absolutely cold. He dared target her man. Terrified, Chen Yu keeps squealing that he is being set up. He begs her to listen, but she simply kicks him away like trash.
He flies backward, crashing hard into the corner of the bed.
Spitting out blood, the absolute clown is completely unable to stand up. That kick nearly shattered his ribs, and now she is walking over. Terrified out of his mind, he tries to crawl away, but she grabs his hair. Since he loves drugging people so much, she is going to feed him some. He panics. She reaches for the drugs. Chu Youyu grabs Chen Yu's chin and forces a whole bag of pills straight down his throat. Chen Yu is a complete crying mess, drooling all over himself in absolute terror. She literally tosses him aside like trash, coldly standing up to grab a clean towel. Slowly wiping her hands, she looks at him with absolute, unbothered disgust. She orders her men to deal with him, not even sparing him a second glance. Drag him out of here right now and make sure I never see his face again. Once Chen Yu is dragged away, the room goes completely quiet and empty again. Chu Youyu turns to our boy Xiaofan, gently patting his head and asking if he's scared. Xiaofan shakes his head. Why would he be scared when he already knows her true nature? He playfully calls her a total villain, but keeps his tone sweet to protect her good mood. Laughing it off, she admits she's no angel before pulling him tightly into her arms. She asks if he's tired and promises to take him home for some proper rest. A bitter rival sneers that she's incredibly fast at picking up new men. Xiaofan rolls his eyes, pushing Chu Youyu back and saying it has nothing to do with him. He explains the guy approached him, but she pulls him close, teasing that he should have just run. Oh, so it's my fault, he pouts, while she flashes a dangerously charming smirk.
Xiaofan blushes and mutters under his breath about how completely shameless she is.
Leaning in close, she whispers that she'd gladly throw her life away for him. Why would she care about pride? But as they start walking, our boy is too sore to move. He remembers how bad it hurt during his shower, feeling like he'd been completely run over. Sensing his sudden hesitation, Chu Youyu immediately stops and looks at him. She frowns and asks what's wrong, and he silently blames her for being so rough. Seeing his pained expression, she finally realizes what is going on and immediately rushes him straight to the hospital. The doctor finishes the checkup, and a very worried Chu Youyu immediately asks how Xiaofan is doing. The doctor gives her a stern look, telling her she should have been this worried earlier. He scolds her for being too wild in bed. Like, are doctors always this blunt nowadays? Even with her fierce attitude, she can only take the lecture and meekly ask if it's serious. Taking off his gloves, the doctor asks if she really couldn't tell how bad it was. He tells her she's too old to be acting like an eager, reckless teenager. She needs to be more considerate of her boyfriend, or things will only get worse next time. Chu Youyu stays completely silent, quietly admitting to herself that she was indeed way too rough.
But she just couldn't help it. The more he resisted, the more she wanted to tease him.
Seeing she's thoroughly scolded, the doctor finally starts writing down a prescription for them.
He reassures her that it's nothing too serious, just some ointment to apply as directed.
Relieved to hear he'll be fine, she immediately carries him back to the car and heads home. Back at the villa, she tucks a sleeping Xiaofan into bed and gently draws the curtains.
After kissing him over and over, she heads to the bathroom to take a cold shower. She looks up aftercare tips for a guy's first time and asks the maid to prepare some hot, nourishing soup. Back in the bedroom, Xiaofan slowly begins to stir. Suddenly, he feels a cool, soothing sensation down below, followed by a strangely intense feeling. As the sensation becomes undeniably clear, his eyes instantly snap wide awake. He notices the blanket over his legs is lifted, and then boom, that feeling hits again. He tries to squeeze his legs shut, but her voice softly whispers for her baby not to move. Shivering, he grits his teeth and asks what on earth she thinks she's doing. He begs her to stop, but she just chuckles and asks what she could possibly be doing. She applies the medicine while Xiaofan grits his teeth.
But honestly, she isn't just treating him, she's totally teasing him until he blushes.
He can't even get mad, grumbling that he can just do it himself. She pins him down completely, playfully telling him to just be a good boy. It'll be over soon, she whispers, as a warm sensation takes over.
The tension builds slowly, and then boom, we fast forward 2 whole hours. Chu Youyu is holding him tight, showering him with endless kisses because she literally cannot get enough.
He pushes her away in mock annoyance, but she says it is never enough. She is literally built different, grabbing the ointment with a totally mischievous smirk.
Pointing out the instructions say they can go again in a few hours, he's genuinely terrified. He asks if she wants him dead, but Chu Youyu just pins him right back onto the bed. Whispering that he is the one stealing her heart, she kisses him deeply.
She promises not to hurt Xiaofan next time, but he snaps there will be no next time.
Calling her a massive liar, he watches as Chu Youyu gently holds his hands and kisses them.
She shamelessly admits she only plays the liar when they are in bed.
Her promise actually sounds so genuine that even he starts falling for it.
When he asks how she's so sure, Chu Youyu just gives him a wicked grin.
She promises to focus entirely on him next time, as the room grows dim. The atmosphere gets so heavy and sweet, he feels like he is drowning in pure bliss. He mutters that he's hungry, and she immediately gets up to fetch some food. Chu Youyu runs to the kitchen and brings back the warm porridge and nourishing soup she prepared.
She feeds him spoonful by spoonful until he finally begs her to stop after 2 bowls.
He can't handle the soup, but she nudges him to have just a little more. Complaining his stomach is totally full, Chu Youyu raises an eyebrow and sets the spoon down. She asks if he's absolutely sure, and he quickly nods in agreement.
Chu Youyu smiles warmly, teasing that while Xiaofan is full, she is still starving.
Before he can tell her to just go eat, the realization suddenly hits him. He instantly dives under the covers, but she teasingly asks why he's still calling her sister.
When he asks what else to call her, she asks what he should call her in bed.
Blushing hard, he clutches the blanket tight, trying to think of a name. He softly whispers the word wife, making her freeze in absolute shock for a second.
Panicking completely under her burning dark gaze, he stammers that it's nothing. Chu Youyu pins him down again, growling playfully right against his ear. Calling him a fatal little thing, she teased him until he lost count of how many times he said it. Wife.
The next morning, the sky is barely light.
Xiaofan wakes up looking absolutely exhausted and checks the clock on the nightstand. Realizing it's already 5:30, he wonders why time has to fly by so fast. And here's the wild twist. He secretly slipped her 2 sleeping pills so she wouldn't wake up. He just couldn't bear the thought of her waking up to a painful goodbye. Quietly apologizing to his beloved sister Chu, he prepares to leave.
He admitted he did something absolutely wild before going, but he has 0 regrets.
Now that she belongs to him, he murmurs that she needs to behave while he's gone. No letting other guys get close and absolutely no touching anyone else.
He asks if she hears him, but only silence answers as he lets out a soft sigh.
Leaning down to kiss her forehead one last time, he silently gets dressed and slips away. The bedroom is dead quiet, with only the faint rustle of bed sheets cutting through the silence. Chen Fan tiptoes out of the room, but the second he reaches the door, he looks back, praying she won't be furious when she wakes up.
"Goodbye, Sister Chu," he whispers. "This time, I am really leaving."
But the second the door clicks shut, the woman suddenly snaps her eyes open. There is absolutely no warmth left in those dark eyes, only pure coldness. Her gaze drops, her lips completely pale and lifeless. She sits there frozen, her brow slightly furrowed.
She cannot believe he actually slipped sleeping pills into her drink. That is wild.
At that moment, her heart went totally numb. Chu Youyu leans back against the headboard. Covering her eyes with her arm as a bitter laugh escapes. "Why, Chen Fan? Why do you think you can just come and go whenever you want? Why can you turn my entire life upside down and then just hit and run?" Leaving without a word. Much later, a soft knock comes from the door. Nanny Zhang pushes the door open, stepping into the pitch-black bedroom. In the dim, flickering light, Chu Yuyu's frail figure looks incredibly lonely.
Nanny Zhang hesitates for a second before finally speaking up.
She says the young master told her not to wake her, but she felt she had to tell her.
Chu Youyu just gives a low hum. Nanny Zhang asks if she's really letting him leave?
He is so inexperienced, she says, and the outside world is way too complicated. I cannot bear to see him go. Chu Youyu remains completely silent. Nanny Zhang calls out to her again, but Chu Youyu just sinks deeper into the shadows. Finally, she whispers that she is tired. Nanny Zhang knows her temperament too well. When Chu Youyu shuts down, even begging on your knees will not work. With a sigh, she closes the door, leaving her alone in the dark. With a dark look, Chu Youyu pulls out her phone and dials a number. She orders them to contact the administration at Cadiz University. I gave you a chance, kid. So far, nobody has ever managed to escape her grasp. Talk about final boss energy. Looking out at the city he's about to leave, Chen Fan feels a wave of emotion. Leaving like this is actually kind of hard to swallow. Once he arrives at the airport, his buddy Song Jie is already there waiting.
Song Jie asks if he is seriously just leaving like this?
Song Jie is usually a clown, but seeing his friend actually leave completely breaks him. His voice is literally cracking. Chen Fan throws an arm around his shoulder, teasing him about getting emotional.
Song Jie sniffs and rolls his eyes hard at him.
He sighs that someone else is hurting way more, adding that sleeping and running is crazy. Nobody can handle that. Chen Fan looks down, quietly asking him to keep an eye on her. She is definitely going to be furious. Song Jie just scoffs. He says that is literally Sister Chu, he can't handle her. Chen Fan tells him to just watch her secretly, and Song Jie reluctantly agrees. He jokingly asks if his English is even good enough or if he needs a dictionary sent over.
Chen Fan laughs it off, pointing out that translation apps exist.
When the boarding announcement echoes, Chen Fan says his final goodbyes to Song Jie. With an excited but nervous heart, he steps onto the plane and finds his seat. Just as Chen Fan is about to turn off his phone, it rings, telling him to hurry back to school immediately. Hearing that harsh, strict voice on the other end, his face completely loses all color. His ears start ringing, and everything else the voice says just fades into pure static. Meanwhile, his buddy Song Jie is already driving back after dropping him off at the airport. He suddenly gets a call from Chen Fan, leaving him totally confused how someone on a plane is calling him.
As soon as he picks up, Chen Fan's hoarse, heavy voice begs him to turn around and get him.
He explains that he just got a call saying his foreign exchange application has been rejected. He is completely disqualified because someone leaked rumors claiming his award-winning design is fake. They even dug up false records accusing him of skipping classes and cheating on exams, painting him as some delinquent who drinks, fights, and faked all his school awards. Just like that, his slot is gone, and he has absolutely no clue who did this. But whoever it is clearly wants him ruined. Meanwhile, back in the principal's office, the tension is unreal. The school leaders and the principal are all sitting there, waiting for him, with incredibly grim expressions. The principal immediately snaps, demanding Chen Fan look at how he has disgraced the school. He yells that they have lost face internationally, all because of him.
Slamming the rejected application on the desk, the principal asks what else he possibly has to say. With the proof laid out right there, Chen Xiaofan finally looks down at the table.
It is a grainy, noisy security video playing on the screen.
It shows the night of the competition's early rounds when he pretended to flirt with Bai Chuchu.
Chen Fan stares in shock. This was from way back, on the day Chu Youyu returned. He had been dragged to a bar by Song Jie where they ran into Jibo Zhen's annoying gang.
How did the school even get this? Talk about a calculated, malicious takedown. The principal rubs his temples in utter disappointment, asking if he has anything to say for himself.
He demands to know if that is him in the video, and Chen Fan briefly goes quiet. Keeping his cool, he admits it is indeed him, but explains the video lacks any context.
The principal pries him for details, but Chen Fan honestly does not know how to explain. He was drinking that night, and might have made a couple of harmless jokes. He cannot even remember his exact words, but swears nothing actually happened between him and Bai Chuchu. Since Chen Fan will not confess, the principal sighs and decides to move on to the next accusation.
He demands to know the truth behind his design. Did he actually make it, or did Bai Chuchu?
Chen Fan stays silent, and the principal immediately takes his silence as a confession.
Suddenly, a loud, arrogant snort echoes across the tense room.
Another teacher pipes up, sneering about rumors of Chen Fan being some rich woman's sugar baby.
Chen Fan glares at the man. It is teacher Ma, the counselor for Jibo Zheng's class.
This guy had desperately tried to kiss up to Chu Youyu the last time she visited. He even pulled Chen Fan aside earlier to interrogate him about his relationship with her. Connecting the dots, Chen Fan gives the teacher a frosty look and asks who is spreading these lies.
But teacher Ma just scoffs, claiming plenty of students have seen the evidence with their own eyes.
He mocks Chen Fan for constantly getting picked up in luxury cars and receiving a free supercar. Chen Fan just shrugs. So what? He has tons of people lining up to buy him gifts. Some even offer him villas, asking if Teacher Ma is just incredibly jealous of his luck.
Teacher Ma's face turns completely red as he sputters, offended that a student would dare talk back.
He sneers that someone who hangs around so many wealthy people must be hiding something dirty. Especially since a regular kid from an ordinary family like Chen Fan could never afford that lifestyle. He mockingly tisk-tisks, sneering at how many rich sugar mamas Chen Fan has wrapped around his finger.
Teacher Ma sneers, telling Chen Fan he seriously needs to reflect on his lifestyle.
He claims everyone at school is talking about him living under a rich woman's roof. Asking how he explains this, Chen Fan freezes, shocked they dug this up.
Frowning, he wonders what would happen if they found out he was adopted by Sister Chu Youyu.
They won't believe it. Instead, they'll just start spreading even more disgusting and malicious rumors. Pure jealousy always breeds the absolute worst kind of malice, so they will attack his relationship with her. The male teacher aggressively presses him, asking which sister he's talking about.
Sneering, the teacher asks if this sister is just some sugar mama funding his luxurious lifestyle.
Normally, Chen Fan would have instantly flexed Chu Youyu's name to shut them up. He wanted to prove he is not a kept man, but an actual child of the Chu family. Raising his voice, the teacher tells the principal that a student with such bad morals must be expelled. Chen Fan fires back, demanding on what authority this guy thinks he can expel someone. Giving the teacher a freezing glare, Chen Fan turns to Principal Pang.
Admitting he used Bai Chuchu's work, he still insists she voluntarily helped him.
There was absolutely no force involved. That annoying teacher snorts, accusing Chen Fan of still making up pathetic excuses. He calls for Bai Chuchu to enter.
This actually makes Chen Fan breathe a small sigh of relief. Since they are in the same boat, having her there should clear things up. The teacher glares at her, asking if it's true that Chen Fan stole her work.
He also questions if he has some serious moral issues as well.
Bai Chuchu keeps her head down as Chen Fan waits for her to deny it.
And then boom, she actually nods yes. Staring in disbelief, he listens as she begins to speak in a stiff, robotic voice. She claims that on the night at the bar, Chen Fan was the one who approached her. After getting her completely drunk, he allegedly led her back to his place. Feeling bad for him afterward, she claims she decided to help him out just once. Later, she claims he got greedy, even hiring thugs to kidnap her. She says he threatened her to give up her study abroad slot. Hearing this, Lai Wenyan instantly lunges forward.
He completely loses it. He demands to know if she is crazy and why she is twisting the truth like this. He rushes right up to Bai Chu, demanding to know why she is lying to everyone. She just denies it, crying that she did not do anything and asking why he is trying to frame her.
Chen Fan's eyes go completely red. He reminds her that he was the one who risked everything just to save her.
Did she seriously forget that? He actually thought they were friends. She thanks him for saving her, but then asks why he can't just tell everyone the actual truth.
She claims that is the only truth and asks what else he expects her to say. Getting super emotional, Chen Fan tells Bai Chu that he refuses to believe he misjudged her character like this.
He knows she would never do something so heartless, so who is the puppet master pulling her strings?
The girl just bites her lip in silence. Suddenly, the male teacher cuts in and tells him to shut it. He barks that because of Chen Fan, Bai Chu got dragged into this mess and received a severe punishment. And now he expects her to cover for him? After saying that, this total brown-noser rushes right over to the principal. He tells Principal Pang that their school has a century-long reputation and they cannot let this slide.
So Chen Fan is in deep trouble and nobody even knows who leaked the video. The principal frowns looking at the clip, but this smug teacher keeps fanning the flames.
He claims Chen Fan brought pure shame to the school.
Fearing it might hurt next year enrollment, the principal stays quiet.
Honestly, the principal points out that public rumors are just gossip.
Nothing is actually proven yet, so expelling Chen Fan right now feels way too rushed.
It lacks basic fairness, but the teacher tries to interrupt.
One sharp glare, he shuts up instantly.
The principal says school is meant for guidance, even if Chen Fan is as bad as they say. If his character is truly broken, then it is their job to guide him.
But here is the catch. The design competition is hosted by Gaddis University.
Cheating is a massive scandal. Their official ruling is brutal. They canceled his exchange spot entirely.
Banned permanently. Chen Fan bites his lip.
Principal Peng admits he always had high hopes and thought Chen Fan was truly built different. He really expected him to bring glory and honor to the campus.
Instead, we get this huge letdown. Chen Fan can only apologize.
Keeping his head low, Chen Fan is asked if the Chu family knows about this.
A punishment is coming.
Everyone disperse. The principal dismisses them. Chen Fan glances at Bai Chu before turning to walk out into the cold, drizzling rain.
This scene is low-key heartbreaking as he slowly walks down the steps completely soaked.
Luckily, Song Jie is waiting outside and quickly runs over with an umbrella. He asks what the principal said.
Song Jie is furious that some jealous hater played such a dirty trick on him.
Questions fly. Chen Fan just stays silent.
Slumping in his seat, he just stares blankly out the window, leaving Song Jie deeply concerned.
Should we go back to the Chu estate? But Chen Fan just wants to avoid that place and asks to grab some food instead.
Hearing this makes Song Jie feel heartbroken. Chen Fan had to catch an early flight.
No breakfast, just endless drama. He spent the whole morning dealing with this mess and must be absolutely starving.
Song Jie promises to treat him to a massive feast, telling him to order anything.
He just wants something simple. Honestly, his appetite is completely gone, and his stomach is starting to hurt from the stress. The sudden sharp ache finally forces him to realize he actually needs to eat. Song Jie brings him to a nice music restaurant with a pretty relaxing vibe. Lively vibe. They even have live music. He clearly wants to cheer his friend up, but Chen Fan is just too exhausted. Asking to be left alone, Chen Fan stops Song Jie mid-motion. Song Jie simply nods, hands over the umbrella, and tells him to stay safe. He promises to drop off the luggage at the Chu villa and says to call any time.
Chen Fan bids him goodbye and slowly pushes himself up.
He stumbles right out of the restaurant, but the heavy downpour is still raging. Freezing wind blows. He is completely drenched.
The pouring rain completely blinds his vision as he wanders the streets like a lost soul. Lost, alone, stumbling blindly.
He collapses right onto the asphalt, struggling to stand. His shoe gets wedged in a sewer grate, stuck fast.
He sits on the wet road helplessly looking for help.
Bystanders under a shelter just watch from a distance. Thunder cracks. He curls up, clutching his head in sheer panic. One heavy blast is followed by another, each boom louder than the last.
Just as pure terror consumes him, and honestly, this part is low-key heartbreaking, a black Pagani appears. It glides through the storm and stops right next to him. While he sits there shivering, a warm, dry blanket is suddenly wrapped around him. That sudden rush of warmth startles him, instantly drowning out the terrifying storm outside.
As the heavy downpour begins to fade, he looks up with empty eyes.
His eyes slowly focus. "Sister Chu," he whispers. Voice completely gone. The woman just stares down. Her voice sounds so soft and helpless, asking why he is out running around in this storm.
She gently strokes his hair, exactly like the first day they met on the streets. Disregarding the mud, she tells him it is time to come home. Xiaofan looks up with tear-filled eyes as she lets out a quiet sigh in the pouring rain. She sighs that he always ruins himself, making it impossible to let him be alone.
Next thing we know, he is burning up with fever. An oppressive weight presses down, crushing his chest. Especially at night, it feels like he is drowning deep underwater, gasping for air. Pinned to the mattress, suffocating. On the fourth day, the burning fever finally breaks. But he's still incredibly weak, completely drained. Zhang Ma has never seen him this weak, and even awake, he just stays quiet. He just stares blankly at the wall as she serves him porridge. She worries that he lost so much weight, which will surely break Miss Chu's heart. Seeing her exhausted, worried face, he softly thanks her for taking such good care of him. Zhang Ma insists it was nothing. Miss Chu did everything. With a sigh, she reveals that the heiress stayed by his side the entire time. She is built different.
Xiaofan freezes, only offering a soft murmur as Zhang Ma smiles warmly at his dazed reaction. She gently squeezes his hand.
She reminds him how crazy busy Miss Chu is, yet she refused to leave his side. Her phone was ringing off the hook with business calls, but she completely ignored them.
She admits she cannot bear to see him leave. He nods quietly. He just wants to rest.
Zhang Ma tucks him in.
He drifts off. Hours slip away. Sometime later, the door creaks open.
A shadow approaches, checking his forehead for fever. In his half-asleep state, he feels a strange, heavy warmth settling over him. A warm body presses gently against his, moving carefully as if trying not to wake him. She kisses him with absolute tenderness, coaxing a soft, quiet sigh from his lips. Sister Chu freezes the moment she hears him make a tiny, quiet mumble in his sleep.
Looking down, she immediately apologizes for waking Xiaofan up and starts scrambling off him. But seeing her try to get out of bed, Xiaofan quickly reaches out to grab her.
He tells her to wait, knowing she is headed to the bathroom again, and tells her she is absolutely not allowed to go. So she just silently sits back down on the edge of the bed, awkwardly freezing there for a bit.
Xiaofan finally snaps, staring at her in sheer confusion, asking what on earth she is doing just sitting there. She says she is just guarding him until he sleeps, which makes him tell Chu Youyu to get back under the covers right now.
She looks up at him completely shocked, and they just lock eyes in pure silence for 1 single second. Then, boom, she grabs the back of his head and dives in for a wild, breathtaking kiss.
She pins him tightly against her chest, only letting go once they are both completely out of breath. Panting heavily, she rests her forehead against his, asking if they can go further, and Xiaofan just nods despite his weak body. She admits she is terrified of hurting him, but he whispers to just go easy, so she kisses him again, promising to try.
Turns out her promise was a total lie, because she almost ended his whole career in that first half of the night. By morning, Xiaofan literally kicks Chu Youyu out to go to work, but she is worried he will get lonely. So she calls his best friend Song Jie to keep him company, who immediately asks when Xiaofan plans to return. Go back to school? Xiaofan has absolutely no idea.
Chu Youyu told him to wait until he is fully healed, but Xiaofan wants to know how the outside world is.
Song Jie just sprawls on the bed, scrolling through his phone, telling him to just chill and recover at home.
Apparently, Sister Chu handled everything, wiping all those toxic rumor videos off the internet overnight.
The students who started those nasty rumors got hit with major punishments, and his enrollment at school is totally safe. The school did issue a minor disciplinary warning, but it won't affect his credits or graduation at all.
Song Jie puts his phone down with a heavy sigh,
pointing out how insanely lucky Xiaofan is to have Chu Youyu.
He jokes that if a girl treated him that well, he would drop his study abroad plans in a heartbeat.
Even Nanny Zhang jokingly suggested they should just chain him up inside the house so he can never leave her.
With everyone saying the same thing, Xiaofan really starts to think about how incredibly good Chu Youyu is to him.
He admits to Song Jie that ever since Chu Youyu literally rescued him off the streets,
he has seriously been questioning whether his stubborn desire to run away from her was just a massive mistake. Everyone was right all along. Leaving the country to study abroad isn't even that important anymore. Honestly, just staying right here and letting Chu Youyu take care of his entire future sounds pretty amazing.
I mean, who wouldn't want this? Most people would kill to be in his position right now. Song Jie is thrilled, telling him that he has finally, thankfully, come to his senses. Letting out a massive sigh of relief, Song Jie asks how he managed to survive running away after sleeping with her. He is shocked she didn't lose her mind, but Xiaofan explains she actually became even sweeter to him.
Xiaofan asks if that isn't incredibly bizarre, but Song Jie tells him it actually makes perfect sense.
He explains that once you almost lose someone, you realize just how precious they are to you.
Honestly, Song Jie thinks this whole dramatic crisis was actually a blessing in disguise for them. At least now they both know exactly how they feel, so they just need to cherish each other.
But Xiaofan admits that the nicer she is, the more overwhelming guilt eats away at him.
Song Jie advises him to just sit down and have a real, honest talk to clear the air. Later that evening, Chu Youyu walks into his room totally exhausted with her head down. The fresh fruit is already prepared and the tablet is charged, but she hears absolutely no sound from him.
Looking up, she finds Xiaofan sitting there with a terribly sad, tearful expression apologizing to her.
He confesses he was incredibly childish, using every toxic trick in the book just to force her hand. After causing all this chaos, he feels awful, but Chu Youyu pulls him close, asking why he is bringing this up again. Xiaofan hangs his head, admitting that he's been carrying this heavy regret and feels absolutely terrible. But Sister Chu Youyu just smiles. She says she already made it clear that Chen Fan did absolutely nothing wrong. He does not need to apologize, but Chen Fan is left wondering why Sister Chu is treating him so well. She chuckles softly, but honestly, there is some serious yandere danger hidden behind that sweet smile, as long as he stays. She promises to always treat him well. Hearing this, Chen Fan asks if he can finally head back to school tomorrow. Sister Chu leans in for a soft kiss, teasingly asking if he is really that eager to go back. Chen Fan mutters that if he could graduate without going, he would, but he definitely does not want to inherit her lazy habits. He honestly expected her to keep him locked up at home, but to his surprise, she agrees without any hesitation. She seems to be in a pretty great mood. The very next day, her private driver drops him off at school. But the moment he steps into the main building, his classmates start avoiding him like he is some kind of plague. They whisper about how he has the nerve to show his face. Even though Chu Youyu suppressed the online rumors, the gossip inside is wild. You just cannot stop schoolyard gossip. Suddenly, a sharp voice rings out from the back of the class, asking who Chen Fan is. Chen Fan stands up and says he is, but the guy at the door looks incredibly hostile. He claims to be from the student council checking attendance, saying Chen Fan has skipped way too many classes this semester. He demands that Chen Fan follow him to the discipline office right now to explain himself. Otherwise, his academic credits are getting totally nuked. Chen Fan just frowns at this obvious setup. Still, he gets up and follows the guy out, keeping a close eye on him from behind. But as they keep walking, Chen Fan realizes this is definitely not the path leading to the administration building. Without even looking back, the guy snaps that they moved offices and tells him to stop asking so many questions. He just tells him to keep walking. Soon they arrive at a completely creepy abandoned campus building. Realizing this is a trap, Chen Fan stops and demands to know what is actually going on here. The guy finally turns around with a nasty, mocking smirk, laughing that he figured it out way too late. Before Chen Fan can react, the guy shoves him hard into a room where a bunch of thugs are already waiting. Their leader looks at Chen Fan with pure malice, basically radiating major final boss energy. He asks if he is Chen Fan. The lackey eagerly nods, confirming to their leader, Wang Cheng, that this is the target. He calls Chen Fan the trash who took advantage of Bai Chu Chu and caused her suspension. And wait, that voice?
It is literally one of Jibo Chan's annoying little dogs. Chen Fan narrows his eyes, realizing what is up.
So Ji Bojin is the one who set this up. The leader, Wang Chang, drops his cigarette and walks right up to him. He looks Chen Fan up and down with total disgust, asking how a weak loser like him dared to touch his sister. Chen Fan tries to explain that he did not do anything, but Wang Chang immediately shuts him up with a brutal slap. He roars, asking who gave him permission to speak. Chen Fan's cheek burns with intense, stinging pain. He stares back with a chilling gaze, calmly calculating his chances against this whole group. Finally, he looks Wang Chang dead in the eyes and remarks that they do not look like siblings at all. Wang Chang freezes, his face darkening as he snaps. What did you just say? Since you two are family, did he seriously not tell you what is actually going on? He just snorts, claims he is his sworn brother. Apparently, he always covered for him at school, making this white knight act pretty hilarious. Do you actually like him? That question completely breaks his brain. If you are so pissed off, you should probably take it up with Ji Bozhen. The guy is openly dating Bai Chu anyway, so why are you coming after me?
Shut up and stop talking to him. He ruined Bai Chu.
They plan to strip his clothes and dump him right on the crowded campus. He wants everyone to see this trash, and Fan Jian aggressively charges forward. Just then, the door is kicked wide open as someone roars, "Who dares touch him?" Song Jie grabs a heavy chair by the door and slams it right in front of Fan Jian. Instant regret. Fan Jian shakes in terror, his smug face going completely pale. The thugs sneer at Song Jie, asking if he wants to die alongside Chen Fan. Chen Fan is shocked to see his bro show up, but Song Jie jokes his savior has arrived. He pulls Chen Fan behind him and snaps at the ringleader, asking who gave him the balls. To bring all these brain-dead simps for Bai Chu here, or did Ji Bozhen order it? The simps scream for their leader Chiangge to end him, but are they sure they want this smoke? Song Jie's eyes light up with pure excitement as he licks his lips. He is literally dying to see whose bones he is going to crush first. Song Jie immediately slaps the first charging guy, completely folding him. Then he grabs the loudest loudmouth by the hair. He unleashes a barrage of slaps that leaves the guy seeing stars while the classroom fills with screams. Security guards hear the commotion and rush in, only to be absolutely stunned by the carnage. Song Jie is literally pinning some dude down while throwing wild hands as the guards scream stop. Seeing things go south, the cowardly Wang Chang slips out the back door. The boys get dragged straight to the dean's office, getting chewed out for fighting. The dean rants, asking if they think they are gangsters now. He slams his desk in pure rage, while Chen Fan just keeps his head down to stay low. Song Jie is built different, casually staring at the ceiling like he has zero cares. Fan Jian starts playing the victim, crying to the dean that they started it. Song Jie scoffs, calling him a little green tea bitch, playing the victim card first. Fan Jian complains again, but Song Jie warns him that he'll slap him again. He offers to slap the green tea energy right out of him until the dean screams, "Shut up!" The dean orders them to call their parents, and a sobbing Fan Jian runs to the phone. Song Jie nudges Chen Fan, asking if they should get Chu Youyu to handle this mess. Chen Fan pouts, saying they shouldn't bother her over a minor fight, which Song Jie agrees with. Song Jie admits she might think he is a bad influence, making Chen Fan huff in amusement. Chen Fan knows she wouldn't think that, but the dean's loud voice cuts them off. The dean barks at them to stop whispering and call their parents immediately. Song Jie shouts back that his parents are out of town. The dean snaps that he does not care where they are. One way or another, their parents must show up today. There is literally no way out of this. Song Jie desperately begs Chen Fan for help, crying that his mom will actually end him. Chen Fan heads to the hallway and calls his butler, who answers, "Hello, young Master Chen Fan." Chen Fan tells him he's got some trouble at school and needs him to come over. The butler promises to be right there, and Chen Fan tells him to hurry. He warns him not to let Chu Youyu find out, but an annoying voice suddenly sneers his name. Teacher Ma heard Chen Fan was in trouble again and literally ran over to enjoy the show. He sneers at them, asking if they got into another stupid brawling match. He taunts Chen Fan, saying skipping class and fighting is quite the impressive track record. Chen Fan just gives him a cold stare, while Song Jie mumbles under his breath.
He wonders where this screeching chicken came from, wishing he could slap him right there.
Seeing Chen Fan stay quiet, the teacher gets even cockier, mocking his constant rule-breaking.
He sneers that a student like this should be expelled unless Chen Fan has some serious backing. Song Jie just grins and tells the teacher that Chen Fan's backing is indeed incredibly solid. He warns him that it's someone he can't afford to mess with, making the teacher scoff. Song Jie thinks of the power that could wipe this clown out with one finger. The school is too scared to touch him because word on the street is Chen Fan has several wealthy older sisters. They literally buy him luxury cars and mansions. So who is this new rich lady coming in? A whole squad of sisters? Teacher Ma sneers with the most punchable face ever. Song Jie is absolutely fuming at this point and leans in to whisper to our boy Chen Fan. He says Chen Fan should just call Chu Youyu over to put this clown in his place. But Chen Fan just shrugs it off. Why even bother when the world is full of idiots? The guy clearly has a miserable life and is just projecting his insecurity here.
Teacher Ma keeps pressing. He mocks our boy for suddenly staying quiet.
But just as the teacher's about to talk more trash, a sharp, elegant voice interrupts with a simple hello.
A stylish, high-class woman steps into the office, making everyone stop and stare. Chen Fan thinks she looks familiar but can't quite place her as Jiang Huang smirks.
She calmly announces she's here to take Chen Fan home, leaving the dean completely stunned.
He asks if she is Chen Fan's guardian, and Jiang Huang just gives a cold, brief nod.
Song Jie recognizes that voice instantly and looks up with pure curiosity.
He suddenly locks eyes with her, meeting a warning, razor-sharp gaze that sends shivers down his spine.
1 second. That is all it takes before Jiang Huang calmly looks away.
She asks the dean if they're free to go, and the flustered dean quickly adjusts his glasses.
He clears his throat and explains that Chen Fan skipped all his morning classes.
On top of that, he got into a massive classroom brawl with some random thugs from outside.
The dean gets all righteous, complaining that Chen Fan has been causing non-stop trouble lately.
He was literally just suspended for plagiarizing in the design contest a few days ago.
And the moment he steps back on campus, he is already fighting again, which the school cannot tolerate.
They want her to take him home while the board formally reviews his case.
They are deciding whether to expel him, so as his guardian, she needs to teach him some discipline.
She needs to make sure this kid does not completely ruin his own future. Total silence. Jiang Huang just ignores him, making the dean sigh in frustration.
He finds her impossible to talk to as she coldly asks if there is anything else. Before the dean can even answer, that annoying teacher Ma cuts in with a screeching voice.
He demands to know if she has any idea what Chen Fan does outside of school, making Jiang Huang frown.
She shuts him down instantly. Whatever happens outside these walls is none of their business. She turns to leave with Chen Fan, which completely triggers the power-tripping teacher Ma.
He claims people saw Chen Fan fooling around with sugar mamas, living in mansions and riding in luxury cars. He barks that the kid has no morals and asks how a guardian could let this happen.
Honestly, this villain is doing way too much, but watch how Jiang Huang stops and asks what any of this has to do with him.
Teacher Ma gasps, offended that a guardian could be so incredibly rude to him.
He sneers that it is no wonder Chen Fan has absolutely zero class or manners.
Jiang Huang stays deadpan, firing back that she is equally shocked a school would hire a teacher like him.
Song Jie pipes up loudly, correcting her that this clown is not even Chen Fan's actual teacher.
He explains he's actually the counselor for their rival Ji Bo-jen's class, and Jiang Huang smirks in realization.
She sighs. What a perfect match. Trashy teachers really do produce trashy students.
Teacher Ma looks like he just swallowed a fly as he glares daggers at Jiang Huang. He sneers, questioning if she's even a real relative since she looks incredibly young. He goes completely out of bounds, suggesting she is just one of the women Chen Fan is sleeping with.
How dare you? Jiang Huang snaps with absolute final boss energy, freezing the arrogant clown. But he tries to play it cool, scoffing that her reaction only proves his point.
Jiang Huang doesn't say a word. He's just narrowing his eyes, plotting how this guy is gonna die.
Teacher Ma sneers. Chen Fan, you really have some nerve trying to pass off any random person to get away.
No wonder you dared to cheat in the design competition. Turns out you are just a hopeless, pathological liar.
Chen Fan asks what makes them think she isn't family, causing Teacher Ma's eyes to dart around. With a nasty grin, he asks, "Aren't you staying at your cousin's? Why don't you bring her here?" Let's face off, we'll expose the truth. It'll be hilarious to see his cousin find out he hired a random stranger to play his guardian. This is the perfect chance to show everyone exactly how strong your so-called backing really is. What, is she too embarrassed to show up? Or is your relationship together actually super shady? Just then, a cold, powerful voice echoes through the room. Who is looking for me? Everyone shudders and instantly turns to look at the entrance. A tall, elegant woman steps inside, radiating some serious final boss energy. You'll love to see it. The entire office goes dead silent. The dean immediately jumps up, stammering, "Miss Chu! What brings you to our school today? Are you here to—" But he's cut off before he can even finish. "Weren't you looking for Chen Fan's cousin? Well, that would be me." Temperature drop. Everyone is completely speechless. Still struggling to process this twist, Teacher Ma forces a shaky smile and walks over to Chu Youyu. He stammers, "Miss Chu, surely there's a mistake?"
Are you and Chen Fan actually related? Before he can finish, someone barks out, "How dare you!"
Song Jie laughs at Teacher Ma. Is Miss Chu's relationship something a nobody like you can question?
I literally told you Chen Fan's backing is built different, but you just had to kick a steel wall.
Chu Youyu elegantly sits on the sofa, crossing her legs with a freezing expression. She calmly asks who was the one claiming my little fan was being kept by someone. All those gossiping teachers in the office?
Burying their heads in their desks, not a single sound.
Teacher Ma looks completely constipated. Honestly, seeing his smug face crumble is so satisfying. He knew Chen Fan had escaped unscathed from a massive mess that got even Bai Chu suspended.
Since Chen Fan could still freely attend school, Ma knew his backing had to be someone powerful.
He figured it was just some small-time boss connected to the principal. But nobody could have ever predicted this. Because Chen Fan's backing? The legendary Chu Youyu! She is literally the top-tier powerhouse running the entire capital. Song Jie points right at Teacher Ma. He's the one who started all of this. Teacher Ma flinches and tries to back away. Stuttering, he asks what he's pointing at as Chu Youyu calmly sips her tea. She suggests hosting a dinner for all the teachers tonight, her unhurried actions sending shivers down their spines. Sensing the underlying threat, everyone watches as Chu Youyu sets down her teacup and stands up. As she gets up, she asks what little Fan did at school anyway. Meanwhile, Fan Jian is sweating bullets, quietly trying to sneak his way toward the door. Suddenly, a loud voice screeches from the hallway. "Mommy is here! Who dared to hit you?" A heavily made-up, furious woman storms into the office, looking ready to start a riot. Fan Jian's heart skips a beat. He quickly grabs his mother, whispering, "Mommy, quiet down." We are in the teacher's office. But when Mrs. Fan looks at him, she shrieks, "Who are you?" He whimpers, "I am your son, Fan Jian." His face is so swollen and bruised that he literally looks like he got attacked by a swarm of bees. Mrs. Fan stares at him in horror for a long moment before wailing, "Oh, my poor Fan Jian!" Fan Jian's mom completely loses it, screaming about who dared touch her precious baby. But Fan Jian catches one glimpse of Chu Youyu and immediately shivers, begging his mom to shut up. He stammers that nobody beat him, he just fell. He drags his mom out while the dean wipes his sweat, nervously addressing Chu Youyu. He explains that Xiaofan was the one fighting Fan Jian, making Chu Youyu narrow her eyes. The dean explains the whole situation. Basically, some off-campus thugs got involved in the brawl. Chu Youyu glances at Xiaofan, then coldly asks the dean if anyone is dead yet. When the dean says no, she just shrugs and walks out with Xiaofan. Song Jie tags along as they all pile into her luxury car. Inside, her cold voice rings out. Xiaofan just got better, and he is already fighting. Chu Youyu suddenly grabs his arm and pulls him close before he can even react. He tumbles right into her lap as she tells him to just stay home from now on. She bans him from going anywhere, but he does not even try to get up. He just buries his face in her lap, complaining that Fan Jian started it by calling thugs. Xiaofan shakes his head, boasting that with Song Jie there, those punks could not touch him.
Hearing this, Song Jie turns around to chime in about how shady the whole thing was. Fan Jian pulled those trashy moves the second Xiaofan arrived, trying to stir up major trouble. He wanted Xiaofan kicked out of the school, but Fan Jian is way too dumb for that. Xiaofan looks up from her lap and agrees. That idiot definitely did not plan this alone. There is no way a brainless tool like Fan Jian could mastermind an ambush like this. Bai Chuchu's brother came to cause trouble, but everyone knows he is just Jibo Zhan's loyal dog. Song Jie immediately loses his mind, realizing this has that trash villain's name written all over it. It has to be Jibo Zhan using others to do his dirty work, like the snake he is. He probably even ruined Xiaofan's exchange student spot. That guy is pure cancer, I swear. Hearing this, Jiang Huang clears his throat, making Song Jie look at him with total confusion. Song Jie asks if his throat hurts, but Jiang Huang just feels a freezing chill down his spine. Realizing what is happening, he nervously glances at Chu Youyu in the rearview mirror. Xiaofan's study abroad plans got ruined, and someone is clearly pulling the strings back there. He suspects it is all Jibo Zhen, suggesting they send someone to dig up some dirt. If it really is him, he begs her to finally throw this absolute trash of a human out. He is sick of seeing him run around, but Chu Youyu surprisingly stays completely silent. Xiaofan looks over and gently tugs her sleeve, asking what is on her mind.
Chu Youyu snaps out of it as he asks what she is thinking about. Seeing her space out is super rare. She admits she was wondering what would have happened today. If she had not shown up, Xiaofan would have taken a massive beating.
Song Jie brags that he was the ultimate bodyguard today, saving her precious boy just in time. He jokes that those thugs would have wrecked Xiaofan, so how is she going to reward him?
She's in a good mood and tells him to pick whatever he wants.
Jiang Huang will pay for it on her tab, and Song Jie literally starts cheering in excitement.
This is top-tier treatment, so that afternoon he happily drags Xiaofan out shopping.
That night, Chu Youyu personally invites all the school board teachers out for a huge dinner.
Let's be real, nobody has the guts to reject an invite from her.
The moment they step into the luxury hotel, the insanely lavish decor blows their minds. The private dining room is literally named after a trap, but the food is already served.
The teachers look terrified but impressed as Jiang Huang politely invites everyone to take a seat.
Miss Chu sends word for them to start eating. She will be there shortly.
The teachers finally begin to dig in, and all that nervous tension from earlier slowly starts to melt away.
But just as they are enjoying themselves, a cold voice cuts through the room, telling them to slow down.
She leads Xiaofan over to the head seat, which had been left empty this entire time.
She sweeps her cold gaze across everyone's faces and calmly asks if they are all full. The teachers nod, saying since she was late, they went ahead and started eating without her. They ask if she minds, but she completely ignores them, stating that they should just begin.
The teachers freeze. Begin what? She tells them to keep talking about Xiaofan's messy private life. She is all ears.
Their scalps go numb as they realize why she invited them. And honestly, I love seeing them sweat. It was all for this. Her face is pure ice. Her voice is surprisingly calm, and every single move she makes is incredibly elegant and refined. But as a powerful boss, just sitting there is more than enough. She radiates an overwhelming aura of pure pressure, keeping every single teacher absolutely quiet. The room goes dead silent before one trembling teacher finally musters the courage to speak up. He admits they were wrong and asks what she wants them to do.
Chu Youyu smiles coldly, noting that Xiaofan was so upset he could not even eat his dinner.
Xiaofan looks up at her, thinking this woman can lie with a completely straight face. Not even a hint of hesitation. Right then, another teacher stands up to lead the apologies. He raises his glass, walks right over to Xiaofan, and says he is truly sorry. He admits he was wrong for spreading rumors without actually knowing the truth. After downing his drink, the other teachers start standing up one after another. They crowd around Xiaofan, begging for his forgiveness. They promise never to say another bad word if he can just forgive them. They blame it on bad rumors, admitting they were totally biased against him. But now they know he is a good kid, pleading for his forgiveness repeatedly. Once they all return to their seats, they look at Miss Chu, hoping this is enough. They promise to issue an official school statement and ask if they can finally end this.
But she just stares back coldly, reminding them that Xiaofan belongs to the Chu family.
She asks if a simple apology makes up for insulting her family, because she holds major grudges.
She is incredibly vindictive. And honestly, you gotta respect that final boss energy.
Chu Youyu swirls her wine glass, her breathtakingly gorgeous face reflecting in the liquid. Since they love to talk so much, Shu decided to let them experience something wild tonight.
The teachers ask what she means as a wicked smile creeps onto her face.
She asks if they feel anything weird happening to their bodies right now.
Suddenly, the teachers realize something is terribly wrong as a strange, unbearable heat takes over.
They feel an incredibly shameful sensation washing over them, demanding to know what she fed them.
Chu Youyu pulls out a sleek little box and casually tells them it is just an aphrodisiac. She adds that it won't kill them, right as a female teacher gets groped by a colleague. Her angry scream turns into a soft gasp as a balding 50-year-old male teacher lunges forward. He completely loses control, grabbing the young female teacher and kissing her frantically. She screams at him to get off, but they are not the only ones losing it. Most of the teachers are already squirming, staring. Suddenly, a furious teacher slams the table and yells at Chu Youyu, "You are a corporate president! Why use such dirty tactics? You are supposed to be educators."
These people literally ruined an innocent guy's reputation without a second thought.
Why would a businessman act like some saint? The teachers almost choked on their rage. She elegantly gets up and leaves, heading home with Xiaofan. The teachers slump in their chairs, completely helpless as they watch.
As the two walk away, we learn Sister Chu put in crazy effort.
She got this special potion, so they better not waste her kindness.
Why? Why would Chu Youyu do this to us? You spread rumors about young Master Xiaofan, making the whole school attack him.
Sister Chu's punishment is honestly light. You dared to slander young Master Chen's private life. So she is making you pay for those words. If we ever hear you badmouth Xiaofan again,
this footage goes straight to your husbands and your kids, and every single person at school. Jiang Huang then sets up a camera.
He adds that the drug has no cure unless they get intimate.
Since you work in the same office, just help each other out.
Do not leave! Let us out! No shot that is happening tonight.
You are stuck here until tomorrow morning. Jiang Huang grins and tells them to enjoy.
With that, he slams the door shut. Soon, shameful sounds echo from inside. Absolutely embarrassing noises, unspeakable scenes flash straight through Xiaofan's mind. He shivers, thinking about how completely toxic and psycho this whole thing is.
His hand is suddenly squeezed as she asks if Xiaofan feels better now.
He rolls his eyes, muttering that Sister Chu is just venting. Honestly, Xiaofan let it go ages ago, but she is clearly the type to hold a massive grudge.
Chu Youyu just chuckles, pulling him straight into her arms the second they step into the elevator.
She tells him she had to teach them a lesson so everyone knows he belongs to her and never dares bully him again. But Xiaofan just stares back at her dead serious, calling out her name, Chu Youyu.
He asks if he ever makes her that mad one day if she would use those same brutal methods on him too.
The woman gently licks his earlobe, whispering that if Xiaofan ever dares to disobey her,
she will break his legs and keep him locked up.
In her room day and night so he can never leave his bed. Honestly, this girl is the ultimate walking red flag.
She has always been extremely radical, living completely outside the lines of normal morality.
She does whatever makes her happy, and honestly, she does not care who knows it.
She notices his slight trembling, immediately hiding her crazy yandere side behind a sweet, gentle smile.
Gently kissing his lips, she whispers that as long as Xiaofan behaves and stays with her, she promises that day will never come, which honestly makes him shudder with pure dread. He suddenly remembers his secret plans to go abroad. What if he actually manages to escape? What will Chu Youyu do? Go completely insane? But why did she rescue him in the pouring rain back then, only to kindly offer to send him away? Talk about major mixed signals. Honestly, Xiaofan is completely lost. Which version of her is real? The next day, he gets a sudden call from his friend Song Jie. Song Jie is shocked, asking if he is seriously still sleeping at this hour. He teases him about staying up late while Xiaofan just groans and rolls over. Clamping the phone to his ear, he mumbles sleepily that he would still be asleep if not for him.
Song Jie calls up Xiaofan. He is completely losing his mind over some crazy news he just got.
He gets asked if he knows who snatched his spot after his exchange got canceled. Ma Yuhao. The name low-key rings a bell as he digs through his memories.
He took second in the design competition, so it makes total sense if it's him. But here's the thing. He seems connected to Ma Mengyun. You know him, right?
He is Jibo Zhen's counselor, the one who sits in the office. That absolute screaming chicken of a counselor who was always on our MC's case might actually be in on this. No wonder he hated our MC so much. Talk about everything finally making sense. To steal his study abroad slot for Ma Yuhao, they literally forced our guy out.
But his buddy warns him that the mastermind behind this goes way deeper than Ma Mengyun.
To actually get their hands on that specific video and leak it straight to Gaddis University? They must have serious power. Hearing this, Xiaofan frowns and sits up. Who else could it be? Is it actually Jibo Zhen? I'm dying to know. But if Jibo Zhen wanted to ruin our MC, he would have done it ages ago instead of waiting for this exact moment. So who managed to turn by Chu Chu and completely twist the truth to the principal? Honestly, the person who leaked that video to Ma Mengyun is definitely the puppet master. So they have to track down Ma Mengyun and make him talk. But he won't just confess, so they need to get some serious dirt on him. How do they get leverage on him? Simple. They just squeeze Ma Yuhao for info.
Meanwhile, at the campus radio station, Ma Yuhao is preparing to read a script.
Suddenly, two guys yank him right off his chair, warning him to start talking or else.
Tell us the truth, or you lose your tongue. Song Jie pulls out a shiny pocket knife.
He grabs him by the collar, looking like a total demon. Ma Yuhao stares at the blade and literally almost wets himself. They demand to know his connection to Ma Mengyun, but the kid claims he has no idea.
He begs them to let him go, but Song Jie just laughs at his face.
In that case, they'll just drag Ma Mengyun over to settle this in person.
Ma Mengyun rushes out of the Jaelong Hotel looking like a complete mess and sprints straight to the campus radio station.
He bursts in and finds Ma Yuhao tied up. Seeing his kid like this, Ma Mengyun completely loses it.
He tries to rush forward, but Song Jie presses the knife to Ma Yuhao's neck.
Ma Mengyun freezes in absolute horror, screaming at Song Jie for literally holding a student hostage. But Song Jie just laughs in his face, asking why the good teacher is suddenly sweating so much. Like, what exactly is your connection to this student right here? Ma Mengyun's face stiffens as he glares, trying to keep his cool. He claims he is just worried about a student, demanding they let him go. He warns them not to make a huge mistake. Our guys are like, fine, whatever.
But first, tell us who leaked that video. Ma Mengyun sees our MC just chillin'.
Ma Mengyun stays silent. Song Jie's eyes turn ice cold, warning him not to make this ugly. Unless he wants the kid bleeding, Ma Mengyun begs him to wait. Looking at his terrified nephew, Ma Mengyun finally breaks down and confesses that some anonymous person sent him the clip. Our MC frowns, asking who. Ma Mengyun swears he has no idea.
On the morning our MC was summoned back, an anonymous email popped up.
It contained the footage of our MC at the bar dangling the study abroad spot right in front of him. It warned him to stay quiet or they'd turn him into a carved sculpture.
And put him on display in the Central Plaza. This villain is actually psycho.
But get this, that exact threat style, our MC finds it oddly familiar. Like, who knew? Apparently, there is actually a second monster in this world as insanely OP as Sister Chu. But when Song Jie asks for the email, Xiaofan just frowns, admitting he deleted it after reading. Song Jie goes absolutely ballistic. How do you even dare delete something that important? His hand shakes with excitement, almost sliding the blade right into Ma Yuhao's throat. Ma Mengyun panics, screaming that he really deleted it because some guy threatened him to stay quiet. He begs them, crying out that he already revealed absolutely everything he knows. The MC glares at him with a freezing stare, asking if he was the one behind all the online slander. He stutters out a confession. Yes, he hired bots just to teach the MC a lesson. He never expected the post to explode and trend all over the internet. But what about Bai Chu Chu? The MC demands to know how they even crossed paths. Apparently, she approached him first, claiming she had absolute proof that our main character cheated. She even claimed the competition art was her own work, leaving the MC completely stunned. Why would she go that far? But Ma Mengyun just begs them to release Ma Yuhao. He screams that the kid is innocent, yelling for them to take their anger out on him instead. With bloodshot eyes, Ma Mengyun is literally on the verge of dropping to his knees. Looking at this guy completely losing his mind, it is clear he is absolutely terrified. He is terrified they might hurt a single hair on Ma Yuhao, which is honestly way too suspicious. The MC narrows his eyes, pointing out how this man ruined his exchange student opportunity. He got cyberbullied, slandered by the entire school, and was almost kicked out.
If Chu Youyu had not stepped up to shield him from the heat, things would have been fatal.
He would have been the next victim, driven to jump off the school rooftop. That would have been him. Ma Mengyun just keeps crying out that he is sorry. He frantically apologizes over and over, begging them to set Ma Yuhao free.
But an apology changes nothing. The damage is already done.
The trauma can never be forgiven. And today, Ma Yuhao is going to pay the price.
The MC points at Ma Yuhao, telling Song Jie to finally make his move.
Song Jie looks at the kid, telling him not to worry because he will make it quick.
He grips the knife, thrusting it fast and hard straight into the boy's stomach. As blood gushes out, Ma Yuhao screams for his dad in absolute terror before collapsing. He slumps over, but that final scream leaves the MC and Song Jie staring at each other in shock.
Wait, is this actually his son? Didn't his wife die right after they married?
And since he never remarried, where did this secret kid even come from? As Ma Mengyun stares blankly, Song Jie threatens to stab the kid again if he does not start talking. That snaps Ma Mengyun right back to reality. He terrifyingly screams out that Ma Yuhao is indeed his biological son.
Song Jie is completely baffled, demanding to know what girlfriend he is talking about.
Wait, when Ma Yuhao was born, his wife had only just passed away. This means he was cheating on her, keeping a secret family on the side. Talk about a massive plot twist. He literally murdered his own wife for her money. Seeing his son bleeding out, Ma Mengyun completely breaks and stops caring about the consequences. He stands up with tears in his eyes, sneering that he never expected them to be this sharp.
He openly admits to the murder, but smugly asks them what they can even do about it.
She deserved to die, he snarls, but right at that exact moment. The entire confession is being broadcast live, leaving the whole school absolutely stunned. Turns out the MC secretly turned on the school broadcast system right before Ma Mengyun walked in.
Realizing he has been played, a furious Ma Mengyun suddenly locks the door.
He snaps, telling them they are never leaving this room alive after what they did to his son.
He grabs a heavy vase from the desk, lunging straight at the MC to end it all. He swings right at his head, but Song Jie rushes in.
Song Jie absolutely folds Ma Mengyun with a kick, sending him coughing up blood. He passes out. The police arrive instantly.
They drag Ma Mengyun away, leaving his pathetic son Ma Yuhao behind.
Song Jie slaps him awake, and the kid immediately screams for help.
Ma Yuhao is completely traumatized, staring at Chen Xiaofan like he saw a ghost.
Dead? Not today. Song Jie slaps him again.
A literal prop knife got him this scared? Honestly, it is hilarious.
They just wanted to bait the dad, but the kid passed out first. Believe it or not, they basically just cracked a cold case by accident. This massive win instantly turns our main characters into school legends.
Everyone suddenly respects Chen Fan now, and walking down the hallway feels different. All down the halls, students are whispering about how Chen Fan was actually framed this entire time. They realize Ma Mengyun is a snake who ruined lives for his son.
Using dirty tricks to steal Chen Fan's spot, but justice was finally served.
They cleared Chen Fan's name, turning him into an absolute hero overnight.
In the car, Chen Fan just stares out the window, looking deeply worried. Why the sad face? Chen Fan just shakes his head. He is realizing Ma Mengyun was just a puppet. The real mastermind is still out there. Honestly, who else besides Jibo Zhen could hate Chen Fan this much? This mastermind plays insanely calculated moves. Talk about final boss energy.
Jibo Zhen is a joke compared to this hidden boss, and Chen Fan knows it. This shadow villain refuses to get their hands dirty, using puppets instead. Their real identity must be highly sensitive to stay hidden like this.
The mystery is low-key terrifying, keeping him on edge. He feels the threat, but Song Jie laughs it off. Song Jie points out that Chen Fan has the ultimate cheat code, the powerful heiress Chu Youyu.
With her massive influence in the capital, she can expose this clown instantly.
Hearing her name reminds Chen Fan of the dinner date he promised her. He calls her up to lock down their dinner date. Her assistant Jiang Huang picks up instead, explaining that Miss Chu is currently attending a major charity gala.
The event is still running, so he asks if Chen Fan wants to join.
Chen Fan gets the address and heads over to the massive annual charity gala. Our gorgeous female lead, Chu Youyu, is the star ambassador for this event. Looking like a total boss, she stands on stage radiating her signature cold, completely untouchable energy. As the host gives a boring speech, she completely zones out. Everyone is staring at her, but she just checks her watch. She sighs in pure boredom. Suddenly, her eyes catch a familiar face standing in the crowd. Her cold expression instantly softens into pure warmth, making the host literally stutter. "I have to go," she says. Handing the stage to her secretary, she walks off without a second thought. While the crowd gasps in shock, she walks straight toward Chen Fan. Before he can even react, she grabs his wrist and drags him out. She pulls him all the way to the garage, right to her pagoni. With a gentle push, she pins his back right against the car door, making Xiaofan gasp. She holds him tightly against the car and grabs his chin, completely locking him in place. Her lips seal over his. Instantly. Pressed against the cold metal, he is left completely dazed by how incredibly passionate and aggressive her kiss is. It feels like she has not touched him in years. Meanwhile, in the empty underground parking lot, a bunch of security guards are completely glued to the camera feed. One guard yells out that this is shameless, accusing her of straight up bullying a minor. He starts complaining about how wild people are nowadays, saying he absolutely hates seeing the weak get pushed around. He even threatens to go break it up. But back in the car, Chu Youyu hooks her slender leg around his. She rubs gently. He shivers. Just as Xiaofan starts sliding down the side of the car, he suddenly looks up. He stammers out that there's a security camera right above them, so Chu Youyu glances up. Her icy gaze hits them instantly. They all gasp in terror, completely intimidated, and start backing away from the monitor. The security captain yells at them to stop panicking, but one guard stammers that her stare is just built different. He says her look is so terrifying that he genuinely felt like his eyes were about to get gouged out. Total nonsense, she cannot see us. The guards slowly huddle back around the monitor, only to see Xiaofan in her embrace. The boy suddenly looks up and throws a middle finger right at the camera, making the captain throw his baton down. He grumbles that this rude brat honestly deserves to get absolutely wrecked by this dominant woman. Honestly, the fact that the guard wanted to save him is hilarious. Later, at dinner, Xiaofan is clearly distracted. He silently pokes at a piece of salmon, still feeling pretty upset about what went down in the parking lot. Chu Youyu calmly peels a prawn while he remains silent. When she hears how he and Sister Song kidnapped Ma Yuhao and almost got their heads bashed in by Ma Mengyun, her face instantly darkens. Dangerous. He asks if she can help him investigate who is trying to sabotage him so badly. She narrows her eyes, turning silent. She asks what he will do if the truth turns out to be different from what he expects. What is different? He is lost. Honestly, he has no idea what she is talking about right now. She is acting super weird. Suddenly, Chu Youyu pulls him onto her lap with a surprisingly rough grip, making him gasp out to wait. He tries to push her off, demanding to know if she is actually going to help him or not. He tells her not to touch him, but she grabs his head. She pulls him close, kissing him with absolute dominance before murmuring that she will do it. Since she finally agreed, he stops fighting back entirely. When they finally leave the restaurant, he tries to be sweet and asks if she is full yet. She tells him she is not, saying she will finish eating tonight, and he immediately gets the dirty hint. Absolutely insatiable, he thinks. Before getting out, he holds her hand and reminds her to please prioritize what she promised him. He begs her not to let work distract her, so Chu Youyu leans in and gently pats his head. Looking right into his eyes, she smiles so tenderly and tells him not to go running around.
She tells him to behave and wait for her. Meanwhile, Ma Mengyun is currently locked up at the police station.
Clinging onto the cold metal bars, the man frantically screams out, asking where his son Yuhao is.
He begs for news, desperately asking if his beloved boy is actually dead.
Right as he is about to completely lose his mind, an officer walks in with a deadpan expression and calls his name.
Word comes that someone wants to see him. The teacher instantly panics, asking for his son.
A cold shadow steps inside. The room temperature instantly drops to freezing.
Ma Mengyun completely freezes up when he recognizes her. It is the legendary heiress, Miss Chu.
He stammers that Chen Fan kidnapped his son, but she completely ignores the noise.
Chu Youyu calmly sits down right in front of him, looking at him with chilling composure. She quietly asks a simple question. Honestly, her calm vibe is terrifying.
Gulping in pure fear, he quickly promises to answer anything she wants to know.
Chu Youyu flashes a polite, icy smile, asking why he could not just be obedient when she offered to help his son.
Instead, he chose to treat her final warning like complete trash.